Hello, my name is Freddie. Me and my team had a pleasure and the opportunity to do a consultancy project on one of the SME in Botswana called Cell Communication. One may ask, what is cell communication? What do they do? What services do they provide? The main objective of this consultancy project is to identify problems that cell communication must be going through as an SME or as an existing business, and to identify solutions that cell communication can do to stay winning and stay competitive against any competitor or any incoming business. Just to give brief heads up or description about cell communication. Cell communication is a retail cell phone shop that sells phones to its customers in Botswana, and it's located in Rail Park Mall, floor 1. Moreover, cell communication is not just any shop which provides cell phones or cell phone gadgets. It's competing against cell phone warehouses or cell phone shops like Diatech, Yasel, Jenine, Samsung, and Cell City, just to name a few. Me and my team managed to consult with cell communication management. When we did this consultancy project, we used the GROW model. The GROW model here, we get to identify cell communication's goals. What do they want to achieve? The reality, what circumstances are they facing? Options, what options could they be there? What suggestions could they be there so that cell communication can change whatever they're doing into something else and do the other so that they can grow? The wheel, specific action here, we give them the feedback, what they can definitely use. Moreover, my other group members will definitely dwell on the framework and difference, the doctor-patient approach, and the problem identification, and the application of entrepreneurial theories, and lastly, ways in which cell communication can stay winning and stay effective in the red ocean.
Hello, my name is Phenyo and I'll be presenting on the reality stage and the options stage of the growth model. To start off with the reality stage, cell communication wants to be known to the cell phone market, just like Cell City. When somebody buys a phone, or when somebody wants to buy a phone, they are likely to think of Cell City as one of the places where they can purchase a phone, and this is what cell communication would like to achieve. However, cell communication is currently facing challenges, and to identify the challenges cell communication is facing, we used problem statement. Problem statement is used under research. In problem statement, we stated the problem, defined it, and set out an objective to solve the problem. During our research to identify the problems, we used interview. We asked the store manager questions to get his perspective of the challenges he's facing that are preventing him from reaching his goal. And then we used observation. Observation, we used it to identify what other cell phone shops are doing to stay relevant to the market that cell communication is not doing. Then we finally used literature review, going through the financial records, sales records, and just seeing the internal operations of cell communication helped us understand why they are not standing out to the market. So after collecting data using interview, observation, and literature review, we triangulated it, and these are the problems we managed to identify. Lack of competitive advantage. Cell communication does not have anything that makes them stand out to the market. For example, Cell City is known for selling the latest smartphones. So when somebody wants a new iPhone, they are likely to think of Cell City. And cell communication does not have that. The other problem we identified is poor marketing skills. Though cell communication is located where there is a huge potential market daily, they are not doing anything to attract customers. They do not have any form of advertisement. These problems mentioned are preventing cell communication from reaching their goal, which is to stay relevant and to be known by the cell phone market. The question is, how do we bridge the gap between the goal and reality, which is the next stage, options. Options. This is where we bridge the gap between the goal and reality. In order to bridge that gap between the goal and reality, we come up with solutions. There are different ways to come up with business solutions. The one which we chose for our presentation is research. Lack of competitive advantage was one of the problems we stated earlier. The question is, how do businesses create a competitive advantage? During our research, this is what we discovered. Des and Davis in 2017 stated that using Potter's genetic strategies is a great way of creating a competitive advantage. These strategies are cost leadership, differentiation, and focus. Vusitembe Kwayo in 2018 stated that a business should only choose one strategy, as this helps them identify a market, then use all their resources towards that market for better efficiency. Cost leadership is when a business gains competitive advantage by leading the industry with low prices. So if Cell Communication wants to use cost leadership, they need to reduce their operational costs before they can be able to sell cell phones at a low price. Differentiation strategy is when a business provides unique products in order to gain a competitive advantage. So if Cell Communication wants to provide unique products to the market, they need to first do a thorough market research. Focus strategy. This is when a business focuses on a narrow defined market. The competitive advantage depends on the excellent knowledge of one segment, which means Cell Communication would have to do an excellent market research in order to survive using this strategy.
Greetings, my name is Karabo and my duty is as simple as critical analysis. I'll be analyzing the frameworks that we used, and I would like to state that the frameworks that we used, actually the Potter's genetic strategy, the 4 actions framework, and the product diversification, which is a business theory that we used as what frameworks that we are suggesting Cell Communication should use, where indeed there are right methods and the right business theories and the right frameworks for Cell Communications. So it is very important for you people to know that not every framework is suitable for any kind of business. So we chose and recommended the frameworks that I just mentioned, looking at the kind of business that Cell Communication is and what it is that it does. So the Potter's genetic strategy, why you are saying it is good, we're looking at the fact that one research stated that it is actually the most influential taxonomy used to analyze FM strategic behavior. The Potter's genetic strategies are also the most used in academic research. And now, since one research also stated that it is very important for a firm or a business to just use one genetic strategy. And so, hence, the use of cost leadership only. And we have rightfully implemented the idea that it's going to use only one genetic strategy, that is cost leadership. So these strategies, as we have recommended them, and the theories that we talked about, especially the product diversification, we actually recommend them. We recommended them looking at the fact that, number one, looking at the market scope that Cell Communication is working on, and looking also at the customers, how their behavior is, the customer preferences, their attributes, their attitude, their behavior, and the psychology. And so cost leadership is very important for you to know that it works only when a large fraction of the customers actually would love to purchase products because of their low prices. And looking at the psychology and the preferences and attitude of the customers and consumers in Botswana, they love purchasing products because they are cheap. Also talked about the scope. What kind of market scope is Cell Communication working on? It's a broad market scope, meaning that it has a lot of competitors and a lot of rivals. So now cost leadership research has shown that cost leadership actually is very good and very, very effective for a business that is working in a broad market scope. Cost leadership is all about cutting costs. For it to be achieved and for it to be implemented on, costs has to be cut. And also the framework of raise and the 4 actions framework of eliminate and reduce also have shared the same intentions and share the same objective of cutting the costs. So there's a synergy between the cost leadership and the eliminate and reduce aspect of the 4 actions framework. And there's also a synergy between the problem statement, which is the method of problem identification we talked about, and also the creativity technique called problem reversal. There's that synergy because it's all about the statement of problems and coming up with objectives to solve those problems. So, why was the problem statement, which is under the method of problem identification, considered? It was considered looking at the fact that, looking at the data collection methods we used. We used interview, we used observation, and also used considered using the literature review. So this helped us to actually see to it that problem statement is the rightful method of problem identification because of the data that how we collected the data. For the grow model, I'll say simpler terms that it was the map for us. It was more like a map and a stepping stone for us because it helped us to see what is it that we can do, what is it that we should achieve as consultant, what is it that we can help the business do in terms of the solutions and everything. It helped us to paint a bigger picture for us and to come up with objectives and everything, looking at cell communication, looking at what is facing its reality and its goals, because we are trying to, our intention is that cell communication must survive in the Red Ocean strategy. It must achieve a competitive edge, and cost leadership will help it achieve that competitive advantage it has to achieve. And as for the creative techniques, we use the problem reversal and the brainstorming. I have to mention that each and everything that all this processes, I mean these theories and the frameworks, they are, because it's like the way these things happen. The creativity techniques led us to come up and to be able to spot which framework was the best, because each theory that we came up with, from the grow model, going to the problem statement, going to the creativity techniques that we used, they were interconnected, they were interlinked. One thing led to another. That is how the flow of the work was.
Good day. My name is Keletso and I'll be addressing the frameworks that we will be using to help cell communications be more competitive in the Red Ocean market. We used the problem reversal creative technique to identify which framework we wanted to use. By changing our perspectives and flipping the problem on its head side, we were able to find a framework that provides a doorway or an opportunity to find more solutions, and in addition streamlines those solutions so that we can create a system that helps cell communications. One of these strategies is Porter's generic strategy. It's extensively used in academic research. Primarily, we're focusing on cost leadership. Cost leadership is most beneficial for our situation with cell communications, as it fits an SME or a small medium enterprise that wants to gain competitive advantage against its competitors. One research study even shows that having lower prices is going to help firms be more competitive in their industries. In addition to this, through observation, we noted that Botswana are very cost-conscious people, and thus having the cost leadership method strategy can help attract and lure more people in through the lower prices and the bargains that we'll be offering. We will also be using the 4 Actions Framework by Kin and Magborn 2005. The 4 Actions Framework will be looking particularly at the raise, reduce, and eliminate strategies, as they will help us find a way to thrive and survive within the Red Ocean market. Under reduce and eliminate, we want to focus on reducing and eliminating the cost of the business to tie it closer with the cost leadership. With cost leadership, there's an objective to obviously have lower prices, but to achieve that goal of having lower prices, we need to reduce our producing expenses so that we can be able to charge lower prices for our products and still make a profit. The cost leadership strategy needs above average returns, and to be able to achieve those, we're going to need to lower prices to appeal to customers' needs and wants. To be able to do this, we're going to use the reduce and eliminate method to reduce unnecessary costs and expenses such as research and development and advertising. In addition to this, we'll be using the raise method under the 4 Actions Framework. One way that we will be raising the quality of cell communications output is by improving the aesthetics and the visual aspects of the store as a whole. By redesigning their stores, they will be able to have a better aesthetic that lures customers in instead of attracting them to other stores right next to them, because cell communications is located next to 4 other cell phone stores. By changing their aesthetic, they'll be able to lure in more customers. In addition to this, we want to add music in the store to provide a different customer experience. Furthermore, we would like to introduce promotions such as buy one, get one free to tie it further to the cost leadership and the lower pricing method that we want to use for cell communications. In addition to this, we can offer laptop and cell phone repair services in-house, and diversify the product range that Cell Communications offers. This means including new and upcoming brands such as Xiaomi and Realme, and introducing accessories that go with these phones and laptops, such as laptop bags, new headphones, particularly as there's new headphones coming in, Bluetooth headphones, phone cases, and such things. These will increase the value of every purchase that a customer makes and can improve Cell Communications' financial success. Thank you.
My name is Jenine and I'll be presenting about how Cell Communication will survive within the Red Ocean. Firstly, Cell Communication should engage in using e-commerce as another platform to reach its customers and deliver their products on a specified time frame. This would attract more customers due to the fact that customers do not have the time and energy to waste traveling to and from a store. Hence, Cell Communication should take advantage of the fact that technology has taken over the internet and world itself. Going on, Cell Communication should adopt a blue ocean perspective and put it into action so as to expand their horizon by shifting their understanding to where opportunities reside. Going on, my group and I decided to use the ABCD framework within the Red Ocean. As developed by Professor Michael Porter, the Red Ocean strategy is used to support competence within an existing market space. That is by beating competition, exploiting existing demand, and making cost trade-off. The framework also works to align the activities of a business with its strategic choice of differentiation or low cost. Going on to talk about how to adopt the blue ocean perspective, Cell Communication shouldn't ask themselves how to achieve both differentiation and low cost. Rather, they should make a choice between the two. This will allow Cell Communications to conceive different kinds of degrees of value to offer customers that others can see at all. Going on, having the right practical tools for market creation to survive within the Red Ocean. Market creating tools enable one to ask the right questions at the right time within the process in order to see the significance of the answers they are seeking for. Hence, Cell Communication should have practical tools for their market creation. Thank you.